Monday Night Raw started with a Miz TV segment. Miz would be talking about how he got the DQ win against Dean Ambrose, so he didn't get the IC title, and how he went up to Kurt and wanted a basically, if you get disqualified, the title can still change hands match. Miz would go on to ask Cesaro and Sheamus to come on out. They would. He'd praise Cesaro and Sheamus here. This ends up leading to Dean Ambrose coming out. Dean Ambrose said he wasn't always making the greatest decisions and all this stuff. Miz was like, I rose the IC title to heights it's never reached before. You're just dragging it through the gutter. Then Dean Ambrose brought out the Hardy Boys. This led to a 6-man tag team match where it was pretty boring at the beginning. You got to see Dean get in a little bit, pick up the pace. Came back from commercial break. Matt Hardy was in. We're just working at him. And then we got to see The Miz get hit by a Swanton Bomb after a tag in to Jeff Hardy. The next segment, we got to see Corey Graves and Kurt Angle in the back reading a job review of Kurt Angle on Corey Graves' phone, saying that he's doing a bad job and it might be the end of Kurt Angle. So that's a segment we should look into a little bit, as maybe Kurt Angle is getting fired soon or his contract is up. I'm not going to touch too much on this, but Elias Sampson beat some local jobber. I don't really know his name, nor am I going to look it up. And then we got to see Joe in the back with Charlie Caruso. He got a promo on Finn Balor saying that he's been broken before and he can break him again. And then cut to a Bray Wyatt promo where he said, I'm the devil you don't know, Joe. I see the future where the beast screams and only one can defeat the beast. So basically, Bray Wyatt is saying that he can see the future, and the only future is Bray Wyatt beating the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. I can't get behind anything Bray Wyatt says because he has not solidified anything as truth yet in the WWE. So, not looking too much into that as a legitimate threat for anything right now. Next event, we had the triple threat main event here for the first one of the show. This was a pretty good match here. We got to see Joe and Wyatt possibly in a future team up, but they teamed up here to attack Balor. Balor would then prevail for a little bit. He'd get his moments. He'd get a couple kicks into the barricades, and he would end up hitting a coup de grace on Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt would not be pinned by Balor here, because Balor would be thrown into the ring post by Samoa Joe. Seth would take on his match tonight, talking about how familiar he was with Roman Reigns. He said both him and Roman always wanted to be the best, so every time they get in the ring together, it's been a war. And Seth Rollins said that Seth frickin' Rollins owns Roman Reigns. And then we gotta see a little scrub match here with Noam Dar and Rich Swann. Sasha Banks would take down Alicia Fox when she was trying to get involved on the apron, allowing Swann to pull the finish out and beat Noam Dar. This is a match I'm not really looking forward to at Extreme Rules because it was announced earlier today that it will be on Extreme Rules, whether that be the preview show or the main card. I really hope it's pushed to the preview show. And then we got to see Charlie Caruso in the back questioning the Revival about Enjo's injury. Saying, this is your official return, but technically you guys were on Raw, and they showed us the whole thing that we all thought wasn't supposed to happen, but apparently it looks like it was supposed to be scripted for the Revival to possibly feud with Enzo and Cass, but I still suspect it to be Cass here. So, They would go on to say Enzo was a bottom feeder. They don't want to mess with Enzo because there's really no point. And then Corey Graves would go on to say that if Kurt Angle hasn't gotten to the bottom of whatever happens to Enzo, then Big Cass has. Big Cass would walk on out to Corey Graves saying, "What were you trying to say about me? You're saying I'm trying to beat up Enzo? I'm just watching after my little bro, man." So he got really defensive, but then again, so did the Revival earlier on in the night. So right now it's a big old game of guess who, and right now I'm guessing that Big Cass did it. In the next match, we got to see Titus ONeil versus Callisto. Titus would pick up the cheap victory by holding the trunks of Callisto in a pretty short match. And the best thing overall in this episode of Raw had to have been the Alexa Bliss promo. Alexa Bliss said, "Bayley is everyone's favorite sock puppet." And then she would then go on to promote the kendo stick match, saying Bayley would hug the stick. She wouldn't know what to do with the stick. And then Alexa Bliss said she finally found dirt on Bayley after doing a little bit of digging. And Bayley apparently had artifacts here. So Alexa Bliss would go on to show us Bayley's first doll that she said she still plays with. Her trophy for sportsmanship that Alexa Bliss said probably didn't get her any scholarships. The most likely to apologize, and Alexa Bliss would go on to say she's been apologizing her entire career. Then we gotta meet the people of Bayley's past. And then Bliss would make fun of that by saying, "Yes, clap for yourselves." We got introduced to Miss Flapper. Miss Flapper said Bayley was a perfect student, but there was one thing about Bayley: she sat in the front of the class with her father, because the little perfect student couldn't be away from her father, or else she would cry. So Alexa Bliss would poke fun at that from Bayley. And then Tracy, Bayley's best friend, said people would take advantage of Bayley's kindness. And then they were friends until that happened. She said that happened. And then Alexa was like, "Woman to woman, just tell me what happened." And then she went on to proceed to tell Alexa that she just wanted to hang out with Bayley and go to the mall. And then Bayley was like, "No, I have to watch Monday Night Raw." So Alexa Bliss would poke fun. Wait a minute, so you're telling me this actually was her childhood dream? Poking fun at Bayley's childhood dream, because we all know that it's Bayley's childhood dream to be in the WWE. And then we gotta meet Bayley's ex-boyfriend, Phil. Phil went on to say she was very nice, but on the first date, it was kind of strange because her father was there. He went in for the first kiss, and her father was there, so they never kissed. All this stuff. Bliss said, "Please tell me you're joking." Then he was like, "Not really. The only reason I wanted to go with Bayley is so I could get Tracy." And then they proceeded to make out, so that could make Bayley jealous in the long run here. Bayley would come on down and beat up Alexa Bliss, point to the kendo stick, go for it, but when she's trying to go for it, Alexa Bliss would hit her from behind. And guess what? Alexa Bliss had a kendo stick the whole time, and she smacks Bayley in the back with it, yet again. Then there's Enzo left on the ground yet again. Kurt Angle says the Revival already left today. So Cass said he's not going to leave the side of Enzo anymore, and that he blames the Revival. Then we got to see Double A, Austin Aries, and Jack Gallagher versus TJP in a pretty boring match. That was until TJP would end up grabbing the leg of Double A, which led to Gallagher grabbing the leg of TJP, which led to a dive to the outside, and then Neville would go back into the inside. He would miss a red arrow, and then the last chancery would make Neville tap to Austin Aries, solidifying Austin Aries as an actual threat for the championship. Then we're going to see a segment with Roman Reigns Roman Reigns said he didn't care if Seth and him were friends or enemies. He doesn't care if it's Seth Rollins, whoever it is. Nobody owns him, and he will prove that it's his yard. Next segment, we had Neville roaming around in the back, being questioned on his first time submitting since becoming the champion in the Cruiserweight division, and we gotta see Neville go away groaning. And then we gotta see a kind of little showboat match here between video packages of Goldust and R-Truth, possibly being a feud for Extreme Rules or future events. So then we gotta see the main event, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Roman would try to end it pretty early with a spear. Seth hit him with a knee, and then he would dive onto Roman onto the outside of the ring. Roman would later hit a Superman punch, 1-2 kick out. Then Seth would sidestep a spear, get a good kick in, and then Rollins would get a powerbomb. He would powerbomb Roman into the turnbuckles. Roman would then rebound and hit a Superman punch. Seth would roll out and would sidestep on one of the Reigns apron boots, sending him into the steps at ringside. Rollins would go high with the blockbuster, 1-2, nope. Rollins would have to go high again. He tried a frog splash, 1-2, nope. Seth tries to go high again, missed the Phoenix Splash. Roman would end up getting lead here after an attempted spear. Rollins would get up, bounce off the ropes, and hit a spear for a victory. So, if I were to rate this Monday Night Raw, I'd give it a solid 6 here. There were some matches that I just really didn't understand what kind of storyline they're going for here, like the Goldust storyline, the Enzo storyline. I get what they're trying to do with Enzo, but I don't really get it. The Titus storyline, the Cass Graves storyline, the Noam Wise Rich Swann getting thrown in. I understand it's for his buddy that just recently returned. What else do we have here? The Elias Sampson. Why isn't he getting a little bit of a push and actually facing real talent? The Kurt Angle story. So there were some questionable things here. I understand the reason behind some of it, but by far the things that really made this show great, or at least great for a 6-star show out of 10 stars, or at least made it up to par with it all, is because of the promo cut by Alexa Bliss, and of course the Seth Rollins match and the Samoa Joe triple threat match that he was in. I'd like to thank you guys for watching the Raw review. We'll have a SmackDown review out for you guys tomorrow evening. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you click that red subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell, and make sure you stay tuned in, because we have the SmackDown review tomorrow. We got the NXT review Wednesday with the return of Bobby Roode to NXT TV. Then what else do we got? Thursday we are going to have the Extreme Rule of predictions. Then Friday we'll get some odds on Extreme Rules. And probably Saturday we'll either pick up on some news that I've missed, or over the last couple of days that have came out. And then, of course, on Sunday we'll have the Extreme Rules. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Gamers. Out.